We just did K4. We are now at item N1, as I was saying a half a second ago. This is scheduled at 9:30. We'll actually start right now. We have a public comment period. The current Klamath County Board of Commissioners thought it would be advantageous to make sure that the county was on track with regards to being a signatory to the KBRA agreements. So in background, on February 5th, 2013, the Klamath County Board of Commissioners approved setting this date for public hearing with regard to understanding Klamath County's continued participation in the KBRA and KHSA agreements. This is only a public hearing date. The board may have discussion, may have question items. What I would like to do is set the ground rules with regard to public comment. Because of the sheer number of individuals that are here, I would like to limit you to 2 minutes each. Say your piece and say it quickly, get right to the point. We would appreciate that, as well as if you have written comments that you have thought out and would like to email them, you can email them to BOCC, that stands for Board of County Commissioners, BOCC at Klamath County, all one word, klamathcounty.org. So if you send those, if your opinion, your thoughts, etc., we're having a public comment period today. However, we're interested in your comments. We're interested in your thoughts. And so go ahead and send those to BOCC at klamathcounty.org, and we will record those. Dave, give me policy. I'd like those to go into the record, and yet they're potentially not here yet. I have in the record support items already received, 12. I have in the record opposed items already received, 91. I would like those to be entered into the record. We will be receiving some over the next several days. I would like those to be entered into the record as well.
From procedurally, you might want to set a time limit so that you leave the record open for 7 days, 14 days, however long you think would be appropriate, and then close the record. Otherwise, emails that come in after a certain date would just be ambiguous.
Okay. So, pardon me? Oh, Dave, he said.
I'm working my way. Okay.
So County Counsel Dave Brock was just helping me out. His comment was to set a time limit so that emails next March are not included, but we actually record into the record those emails that come in. What I would like to do is leave it open till 5 p.m. next Tuesday. So that's a full week to gather your thoughts and send your thoughts into bocc@klamathcounty.org, and that's open for discussion.
I think 5 o'clock is Friday would be more appropriate.
Okay.
The reason being is that at that meeting would be next Tuesday.
Oh, next Tuesday morning, you would like them in before this same time public meeting on Tuesday?
Yeah, I agree. I think the volume that we're getting for staff is if we close it by Friday, I think they'll have time to digest and get them separated. They'll have time to look at each and every one of them also. I think it's very important that we do look at all these comments that are coming in. Listening to the comments is very important, but also the written comments that come in, I think is very, very important. My history is I've been on the other side of this. This is a very different situation for myself personally. I've sat in that audience and I've stood behind that podium and spoken that microphone to different boards of commissioners. And my feeling at the time was that I felt very cheated, because after I spoke and many others that are in this room right here have spoken on different issues, the Board of Commissioners, past Board of Commissioners, oftentimes made a decision right there on the spot. It was very definitely predetermined because they already had to figure out where.
Let me interrupt you for a second. Would you like to do it by 5 p.m. on Friday or 5 p.m. on Tuesday?
Friday.
have consensus for 5 p.m. on Friday? Answer A or nay. Okay, we have consensus. The record will be closed at 5 p.m. on Friday. So today's Tuesday, time is 9:20. Get your typewriters, oh wait, computer's warmed up. Okay. We have a list, is there a clipboard still out?
Yes.
There is a clipboard still out if people are showing up and they would like to make comment. We will still pick up the other clipboard in another 30 minutes or so. Right now, I have a clipboard in front of myself, and I would like I'm going to ask people just to line up. I'd like you to queue up at like 5 at a time. So I would like Bernard Van E. Very good. Following that, Rafael Menendez.
Richard Marshall.
You bet, if that's what that says. Rex Gonzalez. John Crawford. Gary Wright. Those are the first 5 peoples to queue up. I'll call for 5 more in just a second. Okay, 2 minutes each, please.
I'm Bernard Van E. from Siskiyou County. I'm a pastor in Big Springs. I will present 8 violations of federal and state laws that you will participate in as the county commissioners if you continue to participate in the KBRA KHSA. Number 1, the entire KBRA KHSA are illegal, as original meetings established same were held in secret, and being part of these meetings, an agency had to commit to dam removal. Number 2, dam removal will destroy hundreds of species in the Klamath Basin by the release of 200 million cubic yards of toxic sludge, which is a direct violation of ESA. In addition, the listing of the non-indigenous species is illegal under the federal ESA. Number 3, the listing of coho salmon by California Fish and Game as endangered is something that they can do. However, under the Commerce Clause, they may not take any action on a waterway that falls under the Commerce Clause, and insisting on dam removal and a change in water quality is illegal. Number 4, dam removal will deposit toxic silt into the Klamath in violation of the Wild, Scenic, and Rivers Act quality. Under the Act, must meet the standards of the time of designation of 1981, and dam removal will seriously violate this congressional mandate. Number 5, the lead agency in the KBRA KHSA is the Department of Interior. However, salmon species fall under the Department of Commerce, which has listed coho salmon illegally as threatened under the FSA, and the only action that can be taken is no action. The Department of Interior involvement in this matter is illegal. Under congressional mandates of the ESA, Magnuson-Stevens Act, and the Sustainable Fisheries Act, there is no provision to list non-indigenous species, nor can they take any action with a listing of threatened, and dam removal would be serious violation of the law. Number 7, the Regional Water Board cannot establish life cycle-based water quality objectives for the mainstream Klamath River because the concentrations associated with salmonoid life cycles are not be met under natural conditions.
Your time is up. Do you have that? Can you hand that to our Clinton County reporter?
Thank you, sir. I have a quick question. Did you write an email to us?
I did not write an email.
Okay, it sounded, when you started out there, it sounded like just about like what some of the emails that I read yesterday.
We have received.
And if there is anybody that wrote an email already to us, it's already going to be in the record. I'd appreciate you not spending the time reiterating that email, and let us have the public comments that we didn't get already through the email. If you wrote us an email and you're just going to repeat it, I appreciate you not reading it again. Just for.
Additionally, Tom has a stopwatch. He'll hold up a 30-second note and a time to stop note. I will interrupt you if you continue past the stop note, so you're going to have to keep coming up for air and looking at myself as the chair. Additionally, if you have written comments, please hand them to the recorder. If you'd like to email those in, you can email those in. Some people want to speak their mind and not write their mind, and so that's why we'll take either or. Please step to the mic.
I've got a question on policy. I know some people submitted written comments and they were feeling they would be able to have the opportunity to speak also. So
What we don't want is somebody to read an email. So your point is well taken. If you have an opinion to voice, feel free to voice it. We do not want emails read into the record. We have those already. Thank you.
My name is Richard Marshall from Siskiyou County, and I'm president of Siskiyou County Water Users Association, which is a nonprofit organization licensed in both Oregon and California. We want to come here today to encourage the board to withdraw from the KBRA and the KHSA agreements, because these agreements, which have been said previously by people, are illegal. They were drafted in the background in a dark room by the people who were there without public involvement. We'd also, though, like to enter into the record here, in particular, the Bi-State Compact, which has not been previously mentioned, I believe, by others, and has not come to the attention of the people who wrote the KHSA-KBRA agreement. In fact, we'd like to point out as former county commissioner, Nelson Reed, one of your own members, who led the way in the formation of the Klamath Bi-State Compact. The compact was orchestrated between Oregon and California to promote the orderly, integrated conservation, good management, and uses of water. 9 counties are associated and influenced by this 10 million acre watershed. And they have supported the Bi-State Compact for the past 56 years. The KHSA, KBRA agreements are in violation of these previously held compact agreements. 7 of those 9 counties currently are not part of the KBRA, and if you choose to withdraw, there will only be 1 that will still be in it. We'd like to point out that any public referendums that have been held, the public has voted unequivocally to keep the dams in place. So what we would like to do is encourage the saving of the dams and save the fish. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Rex Casalio. Unlike the proponents for the KBRA KHSA, we are 4 generations at the same location, living on, in, and with the Klamath we love the focal point of dams removal and restoration rhetoric. I am in the water over 50 times a year for over 50 years, directly below where the dams now exist, before and after, as my grandfather before me. I have submitted emails to this issue being addressed. Should there be any questions regarding the documentation, studies, and alternatives, please feel free to contact me. There's absolutely no question that the terms and requirements of the KBRA KHSA will decimate all the beneficial aspects of the climate. But the question I understand today is to determine whether the commissioners will best represent the people by sitting at the KBRA table. I would hope the answer is no. The KBRA KHSA were created in secret, involve predetermined requirements to sit at the table, involves tremendous impacts to the assets, resources, and environment of those not represented. Any representation should be instead at the table of the Klamath Basin Compact, which is the only legislatively authorized and legal authority over the Klamath. Unlike the most proponents, we are here at our own cost, receive no personal benefits as a consequence of decision, and are instead here solely for the future of the Klamath Basin, the people, and the river that we love.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm John Crawford. I'm the president of the Tule Lake Irrigation District Board. Here representing the district this morning, more importantly perhaps representing the homesteaders and their descendants that homestead World War I and II veterans that homesteaded the entirety of our irrigation district. Our district voted unanimously to support the KBRA. We are preparing to go into our 4th year of a 2,500% increase in the cost of power to our district and our constituents. We are prepared, based on the watershed, to idle land in our district, which impacts the economic security of the entire community. We are preparing to stress our groundwater resources, particularly those in California, because Oregon's enforcement of groundwater policy makes it certain that most of the groundwater pumped comes from California. We're preparing to stress our relationship and the open and constructive positive dialogue that we have with the other stakeholders who were involved in the KBRA, particularly the Klamath tribes. We are preparing to have a negative impact on our wildlife refuges and our wildlife resources. The adjudication that we're in the process of completing is very important to us. However, like the KBRA, it does not trump the Endangered Species Act, and all of those issues that are engaged in the KBRA will not be dealt with the adjudication. We need from you alternative solutions that are legitimate, timely, and in the best interest of the entire Klamath Basin. Please do not disengage from this process.
Thank you.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm Gary Wright. I ranch in the south end of the project. As president of the Klamath Water Users Association, I would like to extend an invitation to you all to have a sit-down with the Water Users Board and discuss the issues that face us here in the project. I submit that there is a lot of experience to offer you. Whether it be 20 years of expensive litigation that yielded nothing more than water shutoffs, or the notion that ESA reforms, as you and I see them, are counter to what the rest of this nation sees. And can we change that? Experience on the board has been extensive in trying to deal with an investor-owned power company who would not honor our power contracts, 56 contract, for example. I feel we're contingent. The contingency to building those dams on the river was tied to that contract. I feel that here, fast forward to today, now the company's talking whether to take the dams out or not. I think that through the KBRA, we as irrigators have to stay engaged to protect ourselves. So I ask you, commissioners, to stay engaged. We feel whether you like it or not, KBRA is and could be a way to keep the water flowing to the county and its economic values.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you. My name is Sid Stoughton, and I'm currently president of California Produce down in Tule Lake in the potato industry. And I also am serving as the chairman of the United States Potato Board. I just wanted to give you a little economic facts of the industry here locally. Currently, we're gross receipts on the chip potatoes are $35 million. We export $10 million worth of chip potatoes out of this area. The fresh market roughly is equivalent to $25 million, and also the seed industry. So a total of roughly about $100 million of gross sales out of this Klamath Basin. And that being said, the experiences of 2001 and all water shortages have really changed the face of the industry, and basically is why most of the potato people that are project irrigators have supported the KBR concept, or the concept of settlement, because we have found that when we are shut off and we do not supply our markets, we are unable to get back into that place. So we have more than willing participants in Idaho and Washington that would love our business. And the Klamath County has the quality and the yield and tonnage and availability of ports that make this one of the more bright places in the country for that production. So again, what Gary and John kind of solicited is the fact that we in the potato industry really would encourage you to stay engaged, try to find solutions, because problems don't get fixed if we don't stay engaged. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Brent Shane. project irrigator, and my opinions here today are mine and mine alone. I am not representing any board, organization, or district with my comments. As it stands right now, I am not a supporter of the KBRA as it is written. The main reason for my opposition to it is when I do an Adobe Word search on the document on my computer desktop, the word guarantee only appears one time, and that is in the negative, where it states there is no guarantee of affordable power for the irrigators. And without such a guarantee, I will not support it. As others have stated, we have to have an affordable power rate. And I will be the first to admit that yes, we do need an agreement. We need to move forward on an agreement, but I feel that the KBRA is on life support and you need to pull the plug. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Richard Lemming. I'm not a farmer. I'm not a Native American, as you might be able to tell. I'm not a professional environmentalist. I'm just a citizen. I'm a country boy who ended up living in the city of Klamath Falls somehow. But I'm a conservative Republican in favor of the KBRA FHSA. I've spoken to many of my friends who are Republicans that are in favor of it. I believe it's not a Republican-Democratic issue. It's about what's best for our community, with all of our competitive demands for all of our resources. It addresses the big picture, and we have no better option. The dams are a joke. The federal administration, the Oregon PUC, and Pacific Power all agree the removal is more cost efficient to taxpayers. Keeping them, I believe, is a political ploy for politicians that want the conservative vote at the expense of our farmers, our Native American people, and the neighboring fishing industries. So I'll just summarize by saying lastly that over the past 100 years, there have been times that Klamath Falls has been the laughingstock of Oregon due to the divisions in our community. Let's not repeat it on a national level. Let's take this historic opportunity to support the KBRA and KHSA and lead the nation by supporting agreement and not division. I urge you to support and stay involved in the KBRA, KHSA. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sunny Lemming, and you just heard my husband. He's the head, I'm the heart. And I just wanted to come before you today and plead for unity in our community, because I'm speaking for two different things. The people that that aren't a part of the farming community and that are not necessarily attached to the Native community, I represent some of those other citizens that aren't squabbling, that aren't fighting, that aren't tearing our community apart. And to tell you the truth, enough is enough and it needs to stop. I don't want our community to be like Washington, where partisanship, political partisanship, is the rule of the day and nothing gets done. And all we have is bitterness and dissension and division. I don't want that for this place. And a community needs to know, you have the opportunity, gentlemen, to govern all of the participants, all of the people who live in this basin, in this county. Not just representing one group or this one group, but you have an opportunity to represent everyone. And I want you to listen. And the last one has no voice, and that's the earth itself. And I am not a wacko tree hugger. I'm a conservative Republican. But what's happening right now is this basin is being destroyed ecologically. And we need to think about that, because once you destroy where you live, everybody leaves. They're gone. So I'm pleading for the future. I'm pleading for unity. I'm pleading for my children and grandchildren. Please, please bless the families of this community with unity and embracing all participants, all people who live here. Stay engaged in the KBRA, because it's all that we have right now. And I just pray that it's adopted.
Thank you.
Morning. My name is Lucky Ackley. I'm a third-generation rancher in the Klamath Basin. I support the KBRA because three main factors contributing to the uncertainty of the ESA is the contributing is ESA water supply and power costs, those three things. KBR addresses these issues and is one of our only chance to mitigate the differences and move forward towards a sustainable future for all that's involved. Please take time to consider all points presented here today for my future, my children's future, and the future of this basin. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Danny Watson. I don't think anyone here is going to say anything different today than they've already said 100 times at all the previous public meetings. I think we just keep saying it, hoping that somebody's going to change their mind. That hardly ever happens, and that's okay. That's what this is about. But you guys as commissioners, you're held to a different standard. No longer is it acceptable to view the issues based on how issues affect you as an individual. Your duty is to lead as best you can, following the dictates of your conscience and viewing the issues through the lens of wisdom. Wisdom is knowing the right path to take. Integrity is taking that path regardless of how it affects you personally. Obviously, we are a community divided around the KBRA. But the question is not about the details of the KBRA today. Today, the job of the commissioners is to decide if the community should remain at the KBR table or just throw your hands up in the air and scream no, no, no. That's always worked very well in the past. Does the county stay at the table? I believe we must. The county commissioners are not interested in promoting the economic opportunities or advocating for the future of agriculture by preserving tribal culture, then by all means withdraw from the KBRA, because that's what this document is about. Thank you.
Both my wife and I come from third-generation farmers in the basin. I've been on about every board of directors that a farmer can be on. I've seen over 2 decades of court battles and water issues dealing with this. And I've seen the judge's face sitting in the courtroom when we presented our best and our attorneys done presenting our case and what we thought is law. And the judge looks at him and says, do you have anything else that pertains to the case dealing with ESA? Like our world falls out from us, you know. Everything we believe in is gone. What we think is law, what we think is right is gone. And we've battled with this for over 2 decades. This isn't an issue that's just been dealt with in the last few years. It's been a long time coming. We've spent millions in litigating water issues. All the boards I've been on and all the commodities I sell, the businesses I sell them to, the companies I sell them to, they all support a settlement. They say that is the best way to go. I urge you to stay engaged in KBRA. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning, Randy Hatcher. I represent the Klamath Tribes. Under the KHSA and KBRA, the 4 lower dams on the Klamath River would be removed. Pacific Corps has said many times that dam removal under the terms of the KHSA is the most economically beneficial alternative for electric ratepayers. The Oregon PUC and the California PUC agreed as well. The Oregon State Legislature has agreed to and passed Senate Bill 76 to allow dam removal funds to be collected. Analysis by both the California Energy Commission and the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission made it clear and future operations of the relicensed Klamath Hydroelectric Project would be very costly to ratepayers. All of these processes involved intensive analysis of relative economic effects of either removing or retaining the dams. Klamath County cannot afford to make emotional, ideological decisions regarding dam removal. The economics of the situation are clear. KHSA puts an upper limit cost that ratepayers would incur as a result of dam removal. No alternatives exist that provide similar limits. All credible analysis indicate costs to ratepayers will be higher, much higher if the dams remain. In addition to the issues already mentioned, the Board of Commissioners should consider and honor the reputation of Klamath County. Will this county honor its commitments or not? If the answer is no, then that does not bode well for the county's interactions with the outside world. Who would trust that the county would stick to its end of any deal? The county cannot attempt to back away from its commitments and settlement agreements, making a future of intense conflict, litigation, government regulation, and economic trauma almost certain. Or can the county honor the commitments it has already made as signatory to these agreements and help build a future with less conflict, in which diverse groups work more closely together in a productive way to make the county better? Whatever the Board of Commissioners decide to do, the Klamath Tribes will be seeking to better itself economically and to restore health and vitality to the ecosystems that supported our people for thousands of years.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Sharon. I'd like to read a letter from Luther Horsley, who could not make it here today due to short notice of public comment, but he would like to be heard. His letter reads, Dear Clement County Commissioners, it's easy to be in opposition, but harder to craft a solution. My goal in life is to create a sustainable farm and transfer that farm to future generations. The KBRA gives me the most assurance in completing those transfers and creating my legacies. I ask you to please consider the benefits that the KBRA will impact my farm and legacy before voting in this matter. I urge you to stay at the table. Thank you, Luther Horsley, Midland Board.
Thank you.
My name is Virginia Topham. My family owns and operates the Flying T Ranch in the Sprague River Valley. We ranchers are at a disadvantage today as far as attending this meeting because we have livestock to feed and calving has begun. I want to commend you on revisiting the issue of Klamath County's participation in the KBRA and dam removal. All three of you were elected overwhelmingly into office because of your opposition to the KBRA and dam removal. Throughout the process, the KBRA, my family as off-project irrigators, taxpayers, ratepayers, and citizens of Klamath County have been excluded and dismissed by those behind the closed doors. We were told that we do not deserve a seat at the table, even though this so-called agreement will have a massive negative impact on us. I would like to enter into the record a list of entities in California and Oregon opposed to the KBRA and dam removal. In California, we have Butte Valley Cattlemen's Association, Butte Valley Irrigation District, California Federated Republican Women North Division, California Republican Party County Chairmen's Association, Lookout Range, Modoc County, Montague Irrigation District, Shasta Indian Nation, Shasta Nation, Siskiyou County Cattlemen's Association, Siskiyou County Cattle Women's Association, Siskiyou County Board of Supervisors, Siskiyou County Republican Central Committee, State Assemblyman Jim Nelson, State Assemblyman Don Lowe, range organizations within the counties of Modoc, Del Norte, Butte, Trinity, Tehama, Shasta, King, Kern, El Dorado, Mendocino, Monterey, Placer, Yolo, Yuba, Lake, and San Joaquin. Siskiyou County Water Users Association, Congressman Tom McClintock, Congressman Doug LaMotha, Congressman Doc Hastings, Protect Our Washington. In Oregon, the entities that are opposed to the KBRA and dam removal are Fort Klamath Critical Habitat, Klamath County Natural Resource Advisory Council, Klamath Off-Project Water Users Association, Klamath Basin Alliance, Klamath Cattlemen's Association.
Thank you for your time. Would you please submit that to the record keeper for entry into the record?
Thank you, and I urge you to rescind the participation.
Very good, thank you.
Mark Bowens. I've been ranching and tree farming on the Saipan River for 42 years. I've been studying the water rights and salmon restoration since I was in law school some 37 years ago. Once admitted to the bar, I urged the Klamath tribe to fully assert their water rights, as well as to sue both Pacific Corps and the U.S. government to restore their stolen salmon. But the tribes have taught me many powerful lessons. While I was taught in law school how to win, the tribes have shown me to look for a solution that helps everybody. The KBRA is imperfect, but it's far better than any of the other options out there. If the KBRA dies and we just return to adjudication and lawsuits, I expect the tribes could get a clear water right to a significant amount of the water at the expense of many irrigators. And there could be a lot of other lawsuits too. I urge you not only to support the KBRA, but to get on board. Push hard to get Congress to move forward with it. And I'd love to no longer hear save our dams. They aren't our dams. They belong to Pacific Power. I believe private property rights still exist in this country. Pacific Power made the business decision to take the dams down, and it benefits the ratepayers. And good luck to all of you in balancing all these different interests and opinions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, I'm Don Gentry, Vice Chairman of the Klamath Tribes. I represent 3,680 members of the Klamath Tribes. Of course, not all of our members live here in Klamath County, but we have significant ties here. The majority of members do. We have property rights. We have jobs. We have friends in the community. And that's why we're here to support the Klamath Basin Restoration Agreement. The Klamath Tribes overwhelmingly voted to support the agreement. I've had to shorten my talk a little bit, but I thought it might be helpful to give you an idea, maybe in a way that might be helpful for you to understand of why we're here. And the Klamath Tribes have treaty rights, and I'm thankful, and I really appreciate Commissioner Lincoln's statements regarding the pursuit of liberty. And thankful that we live in a republic that protects the rights of individuals. They can't be taken away from individuals, even if they're voted on by a number of people. They'll stand. And I think it's important to note from our perspective, we're standing up for what's right. Creator placed us here. This idea of first in time, first in right, as Paul Ryan alluded to, rights come from God. They don't come from the government. Being the first people of the land here, we have those inherent, inalienable rights that we're trying to protect. And it's protected by the Constitution, and they're referred to as treaty rights because they're protected by the Constitution. Article 6 refers to treaties as the supreme law of the land. And the reason I'm mentioning these things is because you, as our public citizens, have the moral and legal obligation, though we're a minority in our own homeland, for you to protect our rights and to do what's right for this community. And that's to protect all the resources so they're sustainable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shirley Kearns, and I have two things to enter into the record. The first is from the Klamath Bucket Brigade, and I'll just read a couple of brief sentences. The Klamath Bucket Brigade is adamantly opposed to dam removal and the Klamath Basin Restoration Agreement and the KHSA as they are currently constituted. The Klamath Bucket Brigade of Trustees will support an agreement backed by a majority of the residents of the entire Klamath River Basin and that assures that all property and water rights are protected. And this is lengthy, so I will go ahead and email it to you later. Our family also opposes the KBRA and KHSA as they are currently written. I think everybody in this room has said it. We all would like settlement. But if we don't get answers for all irrigators in Klamath County, there's not going to be any peace. And we do not feel that the KBRA and the KHSA answers that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Martin Kearns. You know, I read in the Herald News over and over, it says the KBRA aims to establish reliable water supplies, affordable power, rates for irrigation, restore the fish habitat, and help Klamath tribe acquire their Mozama farm, and to remove 4 dams of the Klamath River. Most of this sounds very good to all of us here, but then why is this document so divisive? Thought about why is it so divisive? So evidently the devil must be in the details. And it's pretty hard to look at just an outsider and look at this and say this is a great thing. I've been on the board of the off-power water users for a long time. And the reason we were put together was when the power company refused or wouldn't honor their contract that we thought they had with them. And so our idea was to try to find affordable power. Well, what we found was it took carloads of money and took the whole community to support such a thing, and at that time it just looked awfully bleak. Today there's things out there that may change that, but it's going to be through private enterprise. There may be some better days ahead. One of the things that we look at is if I'm done already, 30 seconds, it scared me to death. The downstream interest, I don't know if we can ever quench their thirst for water. And I know the KBR tried to do that in certain ways, but the biggest thing that would have helped would have been even started when we even thought about this with some storage, so you get water down when you need it. And this was never done, and just a little whisper in the KBRA. So anyway, I'll quit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Hank Sheen. I'm a fourth-generation Klamath Basin farmer and a Klamath Reclamation Project irrigator in Langell Valley. I am speaking on my own behalf today. I commend the KBRA signing parties for coming to what they feel is an acceptable agreement, but the agricultural community has given up too much and has received empty promises from some of the signing parties. I do not support the KBRA because the agreement calls for dam removal, and all aspects of the agreement create more government control and massive government spending. If Klamath County signs the KBRA according to section 27.3.3 of the KBRA, Klamath County agrees not to file a claim in federal or state court or before any administrative agency against the state of Oregon, the state of California, any state agency, department, division, or subdivision thereof, or the United States, arising from any decrease in property tax revenue or alleged business or economic losses, including property tax values due to facilities removal. In a time when Klamath County's economy is struggling, we cannot afford to lose the tax dollars associated with the infrastructures that will be removed and the land that will come off the tax rolls. Having lived my whole life in the Klamath Basin, it is unbelievable to me how the KBRA has divided the community. There is a need for a settlement agreement that is acceptable to all involved parties in Klamath County, but it is not the KBRA. In my opinion, you, the Klamath County Commissioners, were elected in part because of your stance against the KBRA, and the previous commissioners were voted out in part because of their pro-KBRA views. I urge the Klamath County Commissioners to withdraw Klamath County's support to the KBRA. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm a sheep farmer in Langell Valley, and I would urge the board to withdraw from the KBRA. As designed, it's not going to solve the problems. The elephant in the room is the ESA. As long as the Endangered Species Act is going to trump every provision you have in this agreement, you're not going to make any headway. Somehow, some way, the people of the United States have to get together and require that the ESA consider not only the environmental impact, but the social and economic impact that this act has on people and jobs. So without that, you're whistling Dixie. It's not going to get done. So I would urge that these groups come together and work together to make a change in that act to benefit all the American people and the jobs that it is destroying. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Roger Nicholson. I'm here today representing Resource Conservancy, which represents over 100,000 acres of upper basin irrigated land. I'm personally from a ranch that's been here since the 1890s. I have to say right up front, we are very, very opposed to KBRA. I think it was very well said that KBRA is not a settlement agreement, it's a settlement disagreement. Yet the main reason, and a lot of the reasons, the settlement disagreement, it wasn't all encompassing. You can't build a house without a foundation. A foundation on a community-wide settlement has to incorporate all the groups. We were one group that was forbidden from sitting at the table, and the agreement came out and spelled out that a lot of our water would be taken into the future. Same way with the ratepayers. This agreement was formed behind closed doors, and all of a sudden we see additions to our bills. And these aren't the only additions to our bills. It's for those who have truly followed the Senate bill in Oregon that was passed. It quite clearly calls for PP&L to be paid for the capitalized value of those dams after the fact when they are taken out. It isn't just the cost of decommissioning, it's the cost of paying PP&L for what the value of the dams, once again, upon the backs of the ratepayers. I think that I commend these commissioners for reopening these hearings and taking additional testimony. I urge you to take and withdraw from KBRA.
My name is Ambrose McAuliffe. I'm a grass farmer from Fort Klamath. I believe that the question in my mind I'd like to pose is how many of us in this room have actually read the KBRA or understand the particulars, particularly we'll say as regards the last amendment that the commissioners passed. I wonder to myself that if we were taking the time or somebody could explain to us what actually is in that agreement and the amendment, we might have a different opinion as to going forward or standing pat. What I believe that it represents is a modern day, the KBRA is a modern day Trojan horse. And it's everything from divide and conquer to legalize grand theft. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Andrea Robbie. I'm an Upper Basin irrigator in the Spray River Valley. And I continue to irrigate and would like to do so for many generations to come. I understand that you've heard many of these comments that we have today. They're the same comments that we've had for the last 6 years. But let's ask, why are they the same comments we've had for the last 6 years? Those of us that are opposed to the KBRA still have the same questions and concerns. These parties that have come together to make this so-called consensus have not addressed or remedied their agreement to consider our questions and concerns. And therefore, we still have the same questions and concerns. So I would urge you as Klamath County Commissioners to please rescind your support of KBRA as written. That's not saying that as Klamath County Commissioners you're against settlement. We're just against this settlement that doesn't have the details and answer the questions and concerns of all the constituents within the Klamath County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Have a cold. I'm glad that you're here and you're bringing this up. My name is Linda Long.
Thank you.
From Chilliwack area. I'm a third generation rancher in Upper Basin and member of the Vice President of the Off-Project Water Users, President of the Modoc Point Irrigation District. And I also have a business in Chilliwack with ranch real estate. I feel that we have been working on this for a long time. We were on board at first when it was a settlement for secure power, water, and protection against the ESA. And it is now unilaterally protective of many of those things. One thing that it doesn't address satisfactorily or hasn't been able to address is the secure power costs for agriculture. And I think that there's a lot of movement right now, a lot of community talk and effort into getting some things done, but it's not, the people that are doing that are not privy to sit at the board of the KBRA, as they have not been all along in regard for those issues. I think the KBRA is something that I definitely would like to not support. I urge you not to support it in its written form. I think it's got good ideas and some good concepts that we can all support, but we need to regroup and get around the table with the people in the basin instead of so many agencies and people outside of the basin. We need to represent our people, not others outside of our basin. And I urge you to be supportive of that movement and would welcome the people in the KBRA presently to welcome everybody to the table, not just a select few. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Chris Fisher. I'm here to support the KBRA. For years now, we've learned that the status quo will not solve our water quality problems. We must move forward with the KBRA so that we can start to fix the water quality problems in the Upper Basin. The KBRA offers the only viable solutions to fix these problems that the basin faces. Many of us have sat through these meetings before and no other solutions have been presented to us. So let's stop wasting time and approve the KBRA so that we can fix these problems locally. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Del Fox. I'm an off-project irrigator. I serve one
multiple boards and volunteer positions throughout the county. The KBRA and the KHSA does absolutely nothing to solve problems. It divides the community, it divides the water, it takes the water and reallocates it. What we need is an agreement, a settlement, that addresses the real problem. The shortage of water in this basin is primarily man-made. That being said, we still have to deal with that. So the only options that we have, and these solutions have been proposed, to put more storage in and to have more available water. So let's get an agreement that solves the problem and not one that divides the community. Thank you.
Withdrawal of KBRA. It sounds like Nancy Pelosi wrote this one too. We got to vote for it before we know what's in it. Before me, I see farmers. All they want to do is farm. I see farmers in Siskiyou County. All they want to do is farm. But you people are missing the point. Why do you think the federal government pulled the water out of the Klamath over here? It's called Agenda 21, Sustained Development. They don't want the farmer here. They don't want him in Siskiyou County, the 2-inch delta smelt down in the San Joaquin Valley, 850,000 acres. The president yesterday said he wants clean energy. Tell me, how much cleaner can you get a dam with a penstock and a turbine and provide clean water? And one other thing. Mr. Whitsitt ran for office up here. Look at the vote he got. The farmers here, the farmers over there, they're pitting each other. That's what the environmentalists want. Can you trust an environmentalist? I can't, because they want to take this whole land and take the farmer off their ranches and whatever. I think you need to look beyond what everybody says. The lady that spoke up here before, all the people in California, yes, we're down there. And the people in Modoc are paying to take the dams out of the Klamath.
Thank you for your comments.
My name is Belinda Scalise.
Excuse me for a second. Let me cue up.
Klamath County finds itself in the unique situation of violating the big three environmental laws: the Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act, and the Endangered Species Act. Several approaches could be taken to dealing with and rectifying these violations. I have heard it suggested that Klamath County seek to repeal the ESA, and I would urge the Commission to choose a better use of its time and resources in serving the citizens of this county. It is unreasonable to think that changing federal law is an attainable goal during your tenure in office. I support the KBRA and the KHSA. These agreements have been forged as a solution to natural resource issues that have plagued Klamath County and the larger Klamath Basin by citizens, local leaders, and former Klamath County commissioners. I applaud their willingness to work together through historical misgivings about one another to find solutions. We need leadership to move us forward with reasonable, durable, and lasting solutions to our natural resource issues. This will require putting aside personal grievances to listen and learn from your constituency. And I know that the citizens of this county are glad to tell you why the KBRA and KHSA are the best solutions for us. As one of those citizens, I'm telling you today that I want you to represent me by working together with your co-partners in these agreements and remain engaged as they move forward.
Thank you.
Spring River Water Resource. I'd like to thank the commissioners for the opportunity to speak on the KBRA and KHSA. As a citizen of Klamath County, I would like to see a comprehensive settlement to these water disputes and power disputes. At this point in time, the KBRA and KHSA unfortunately fall short of that, of being a full circle, comprehensive agreement for everybody. The KBRA at this point in time, as written, relies on the consumption of part of our community in order to fulfill the needs of other parts of our community. that is not a true consensus settlement. A consensus settlement is a settlement that encompasses the small person to the mid-sized person to the large person. We need to try to accommodate everybody's needs and not wants. So what can we do? I'm not a believer in throwing away the KBRA. There's been a tremendous amount of work done.
Where the stakeholders were there, and I asked them, you know, why doesn't Klamath County sit on the technical action team? Could you please amend it? They never came and answered me. I sent a certified letter to the other commissioners. I again got no answer on that. I am so happy to see your faces. Thank you.
Thank you.
Becky Hyde. I'm a rancher in Beatty, Oregon in the OFF project. I'm a board member of the Upper Klamath Water Users, which represents about 80,000 acres of land in the OFF project. I want to thank you, commissioners, for allowing public comment on this important topic. I would like to see this community come together, and I am trying on my own to soften my own hard edges, which is its own hard job. But unless we find more people willing to work together across divides in this room, we will continue to send mixed messages out of this community about what we need to survive, and we will continue to hurt each other. The jeopardy for those of us in the room with a livelihood directly tied to agriculture is like a shaky three-legged stool. Right now, each of the legs of our stool is weak. For some, it is only one leg that is weak, and for others, it is all three. Our family has all three. The Klamath tribe's final decision on the amount of water they will be granted in the adjudication is coming out soon. The Klamath tribes hold the senior water right, and preliminary reports show the tribes being granted most of the water they claimed, which is most of the water. Our agricultural power rates are no longer competitive with other ag communities like ours in the region. Many of our farm and ranch families will not survive at these rates. The Endangered Species Act, which shut down the water to the project in 2001, has not changed. The only solution on the table to deal with these issues today is the KBRA. Klamath County has had a seat at the KBRA table for years. A great deal of work has been done to move towards security for our region's irrigators. That is why the many irrigation districts in the project and the Upper Klamath water users signed on again in the fall of 2012 to continue this work. Our family has ranched in this basin for 100 years, and I want my children, 4 children, to have time to continue our legacy of ranching. Thank you.
Thank you. Continue. I am Bob King. Excuse my language. I'm a little muffled here, but I started to work. I was one of the lucky ones. I got into the meetings, 3 or 4 of them, when they first started this KBRA. I started with the water users, Dave Solomon, Dan Kempen were the big pushers, and then there's Kendrick and Ed Bear, all pushing for this thing. Most of them have wells. Condrey has land he wants to sell to tribes in this deal. And I am fully against this KBRA. All it has done for me, it has doubled my taxes, over doubled water taxes. Went from $20 an acre, $56 an acre. This is what the KBRA is and Quapa's. This is a bunch of crap. We're paying for a 2-office building for the water users and Quapa, which do us no good at all. And I object to that. And they never even got my permission to charge my water taxes and give money to the water users. I'm 100% against them, Quapa, and the KBRA. Thank you. I will leave some for you guys to read.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, I'm Erica Benson. I'm a rancher in Spring River. I just want to keep it brief, say I'm against the KBRA and I'm strongly against dam removal. I was asked to make a statement. There's several people that couldn't make it here today because they were working. They're trying to keep the cows fed. The Herald and News recently had a poll and it asks, should Congress act on the KBRA this year? And most everyone could vote yes on this question, as most believe they should act. Some say Congress should say yes, and some say Congress should say no. This survey is not asking the question, do you agree with the KBRA, or do you disagree with the KBRA? Those supporting dam removal and the KBRA are claiming this poll asks that question, which it clearly does not. Once again, relying on misleading wording in an attempt to get their desired result. You should also note that the words dam removal were left completely out of this polling wording. Do you think that this was an innocent mistake or an accident, even though both the KBRA and dam removal are tied completely together? Just as former Klamath County legal counsel Dan Bunch, now Judge Bunch, stated, quote, the KBRA is a dam removal agreement, unquote. Also, for note, it's the fact that multiple voting was possible, making this entire poll completely useless. So, just keep that in mind.
That's a key, and I know, Barry, thank you.
My name is Matt Walter. I'm an off-project irrigator and president of the Upper Klamath Water Users Association, which is a signatory and strong supporter of the KBRA. But today I'm here as a concerned citizen. I think this hearing is a monumental waste of time and resources for all the people in this room and our county government. Mr. Lithican stated last week that no fiscal impact to this hearing. Well, you should ask every person in this room whether there was any fiscal impact to be here, as well as the extra resources that are presented for this county government. This issue has been voted on by the people of Klamath, and as recently as 2 months ago, every irrigation district and every signatory to the KBRA reaffirmed their commitment. You three commissioners are taking the advantage of your office to grandstand your personal opinions. The KBRA is the only viable solution on the table. In a public letter to the editor of the Herald and News, I challenged all three of you commissioners to come forward with workable solutions. As of yet, nothing has happened. I'm sure there's a whole room full of people that would love to hear your plans, look at the merits, and debate those plans with you. I've been very involved in the power issues of the KBRA. In the OFF project, the common topic of discussion are power rates. Every irrigator I talk to in the OFF project is questioning if they will be able to continue operating. The only real options for the OFF project is to pay Pacificor or stop irrigating. With the KBRA, off-project irrigators can voluntarily join forces with project irrigators to pull their resources and have some control over their destiny. Developing power entity which enable irrigators to shop for best market rates, develop their own power resources. It comes down to strength in numbers. Who knows, in the future we may be able to build strong enough power entity that there will be able to supply low power rates for businesses and even consumers in the issue. In closing, commissioners, you may not like the KBRA, so why not come forward with viable solutions that address all the needs of the people in the Klamath Basin? If not, get out of the way so we can help ourselves and our neighbors to survive in the Klamath Basin.
Thank you. Next up.
I'm Jerry Jones. I'm opposed to the KBRA because it's a fraud. Basically, science is gone unchallenged. People doubted it. They haven't come up with a factual basis for refuting it. Since the coho salmon were listed as endangered, they developed a genetic test to determine river of origin. Interestingly, I just got the technical document yesterday. There's no nothing in there about the genetic analysis of coho salmon. Even though the Southwest Science Center of the National Marine Fisheries Service started mapping the genetic codes according to their report to Congress in 2011. So the first question that doesn't even answer is there any wild coho left in the river? There's no evidence there is. The ones that have been tested show evidence of genetics from Puget Sound. The next thing is that the technical documents, they say that they're going to flush the sediment from the dams down the river during the low water period in winter, which means there'll be no ability to control water temperature. Steelhead will be killed. And the primary reason, I believe, for the water being shipped out of the lake down the rivers to supply power company contracts and not to help the fish. The coho have to live in a river for a year before they go to the ocean, and as well documented, the Shasta and the Scott River they believe they live. Scott's particularly dries up in the summer. So I'll give you my supporting documents here. They've completely ignored history. The lake flows outflows historically before the dams were even put in never exceeded 300 cubic feet per second. They killed the fish in 2002 by putting the warm water down.
Chillicothe, Oregon. We've worked on these agreements with our neighbors to do our part to help preserve the community, and we have found that the KBRA and KHSA agreements are beneficial for all of us. The only agenda we have is to do our part to help the community prosper. It's very sad to hear a person say that they don't like the KBRA or that they only like parts of it, only to find out that they've never read it, not even the summary, not even the section that pertains to their farm or ranch, or they've been misled and not learned the facts. Klamath commissioners have the opportunity to support and perfect the KBRA through the KBCC meetings. You can be recorded as the leaders who saved the basin from the uncertainty of another water shutoff, disaster, and pave the path to prosperity with the first water and power agreement of its kind. The KBRA will facilitate the designed and already structured Klamath Basin Power Alliance, allowing for electrical generation independence that could be a major impetus for businesses to land in Klamath. Your names would be in the historical record as an instrumental force majeure. These successes could belong to you if you support the agreements. If you choose not to support the KBRA, you could be associated with another water shutoff disaster. The $600 million agricultural dollars at risk in Klamath County, $150 million at risk in the fishery industry, and a complete implosion of what few businesses we have left in Klamath. This disaster can be prevented if you support the agreements. 2013 is shaping up to be another dry year. Irrigators and citizens are worried, and we should be too. There have been no other viable solutions presented, only complaints. I'm asking you to please support the KBRA. Please support our Klamath agriculture, businesses, and jobs. And thank you for your attention.
Commissioners, for a chance to speak this morning. So far this morning, I've heard a lot of comment where people have asked you to take responsibility for the job you've been charged to do, voted to do. We voted on you and put you in there. We can vote on you and take you out of there if you don't do your jobs. There are two ways here to go. KBRA or the court process set forth in the adjudication process. Excuse me, I'm kind of nervous. Okay, now either we work the KBRA or we go to the adjudication process. The adjudication process is ownership of that water. If the tribes get any part of that, you may not be able to irrigate down there. Now you guys have a chance to change this, to get on board and make a change for the good. Before I heard someone say that you're either at the table or you're on the menu. Well, that's what's going to happen. If you don't support this thing, you in fact are going to be on the menu. You're going to be on a clipboard and we're going to get you out of there. That's what's going to happen. By bringing this up now, 40 plus days after it was voted on and supported by the former commissioners, that's no good. It's not fair. To do this right now is terrible. And in my opinion, there's only one guy in this end of the room that's voted into their position that deserves to be there. And that's Mr. Frank Scraw. He's doing it with integrity. He's doing it with pride. He represents us all in Klamath County. You need to do the same by staying in this theater with the KBRA. I apologize for being nervous today, but this happens. I just want you to know that we know what you're responsible for in this office. You need to do the right thing. Thank you very much.
My name's Claude Haggerty, Chairman of the Board of Shasta View Irrigation District. Second generation farmer, Milan. Voted for this KBRA twice. Not because I liked all the principles, or because I figured it was the best deal you could possibly get. But it is the only workable solution that I've seen. I've experienced water cutoff twice, 2001 and 2010. I understand from the farmer's perspective of after you've been cut off. And I urge you to stay engaged in this process. Not because it may suit all your principles, but because it's the best workable solution I've seen yet. Thank you.
Please continue.
Obrigado. Continuação, Michael Sassis, Lemonwatch, Taylor Tupper David. So good morning. My name is Taylor Tupper David. I'm also known as Thunderhorse. I'm a member of the Klamath Tribes. My family was longtime ranchers in the Spring River Valley. And I urge you, as Klamath County Commissioners that were elected, I'm also a citizen of Klamath County, and I urge you to stay aboard the KBRA. There is no other option. And if you don't do it, we'll be here in a year, and I'll be asking you why you didn't follow through and try to help our community. I also believe that we need to work together. Everyone in this room has similar issues and similar things. There's no way that we can continue to fight like this and not support one another. This is ridiculous. Since 2001, I've been the public relations manager for the Klamath Tribes. I've been involved with all these issues, but there is no other viable option. KBRA will help the community, and those individuals that don't like the KBRA have not taken the time to read it, understand it, or come and see us. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Sean Jackson. I'm the Klamath Modoc, Paiute Native American Indian from this area. I'm a Jackson, and I have one of the largest families in this area. I just wanted to let you know that I'm in strong support of dam removal, river restoration, and sustainable economic growth for this community, for all people, not just natives, but everybody. I believe it is our responsibility as Indigenous people of this land to nurture and protect the natural resources of our homeland. The fish were a gift from the Creator to nourish our people. The wildlife, berries, wokus, and roots sustained us since time immemorial. It has been over 100 years since we have been able to fish, since we have been able to fish the salmon in our rivers. Our chwam is on the endangered species list. We are only allowed to catch them for ceremonial purposes once a year. This is the result of the dams built on the Klamath River, and the salmon can't reach their traditional homelands anymore. They beat themselves against the dams until they spawn out and die. We all remember the effects of the water curtailment in 2001. No one was happy. Farm production diminished, tribal members were accosted and blamed, and the harsh reality was evident. We as a basin could not endure this again. The huge salmon die-off in 2002 was as hard on the tribal members as the water curtailment in 2001 was to the agricultural community. The Klamath Basin Restoration Agreement and the Klamath Hydroelectric Settlement Agreement are the products of massive joint collaboration between agriculture, tribes, fishermen, and conservation groups that have historically been at odds with each other. They're about living in a predictable and peaceful community, habitat restoration, the economy, and creating hundreds of jobs. The KBRA and KHSA are good documents made in good faith by all parties concerned. I urge you to stay in the agreements and support the vote of the citizens of Klamath County. The people have spoken. Honor this.
My name is Norma Cummings. I'm an enrolled member of the Klamath Tribes. I am in support of KBRA. My opinion of commissioners bringing their own personal agendas to the table, I think is absolutely obscene. We all know, the community knows exactly where you guys sit personally in your own personal opinions of KBRA. However, that is not the way that Klamath County as a whole has voted. You guys were seated here by the people of Klamath County. You need to uphold what was already said and what was already voted on. Thank you.
Crazy up, my cooks. Okay, my just knew it was Chubby. I was born and raised here. My English name is Derek Kimball. My ancestors have been here for at least 14,000 years in this basin, with fish as our staple food. The fish brought health to our ecosystem and to our people. Over 100 animals rely on fish nutrients in the wildlife, and trees grow twice as fast with salmon nutrients. I have a degree from University of Oregon's Bachelor of Arts in Environmental Studies, and I see there's a lot of unsustainable practices going on in the basin right now. So I know that dams kill 60% of the mortality of the smokes, and they're highly inefficient. They evaporate, they fill up with silt, they're outdated. There's new renewable energies for run-of-the-river turbines that would help. Deschutes County is the fastest growing county in Oregon, and they are piping their irrigation to save water for salmon in stream without evaporation, and they're making their own energy off it. We could do this. We all live here together. I'm from here. I grew up here. I played ball here. I know a lot of you people. I think we do need to live together and get along, and this is the best option right now. So I support the KBRA. Most of Kecha, no cooks.
Sadie Martinez, and I am the granddaughter of Jeff Mitchell. I am in support of the KBRA, and I've mentioned before at a meeting that my understanding, how I view it, is that the rivers are like blood to the world, and you start cutting them off, and things start to die, and I feel like the dams need to be removed so that life can continue on, especially for our people. I'm 9 months pregnant, and I'd really like to see my son be able to see and continue our traditions, and I hope that we come to an agreement together. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Michael Luft. I am a citizen of Klamath Falls, and I have testified on this KBRA numerous times at the various meetings. And anyway, to get it down and say it quickly, I believe the science is badly flawed. It just doesn't make sense. And the second thing, if any of you have read that all the way through, I darn near went blind reading it on the internet. And it's so many contradictions, it's so much all piled together that basically says Big Brother gets control of all of the water. And basically, if farmers think they're going to be saved by this, look, you can only put so much water in a glass, and that's all the water you've got. So look at the Klamath Basin, and you can look at it like a glass of water, and it's basically going to tell you that's all the water you have. Okay, that's all the water you have right now. Now, by making an agreement with the government, it's going to give you more water, someplace to guarantee you the water to farm. That water's got to come from someplace. But you've got a federal judge down in California, maybe, that'll say, no, the purple salamander's got to get more water, or the spotted owl has to get more water. And very basically, this agreement isn't going to work. It's just going to put you under his thumb, under his control. It's going to take all of the old water rights and throw them out the door. Now, the science is flawed, basically, and I could spend about 3 hours talking on that, and I know it. I know salmon. And this is basically it.
You can send details as an email. I've told everybody before as I cut you off, please don't feel like that's your last word. You get till Friday at 5 o'clock to send emails in. Last two individuals, Bill Adams and Al King.
Thank you. I'm Bill Adams. I've been in business in this community for 35 years. I know quite a few of you. And and I certainly believe that farmers need water. However, I oppose the KBRA because I don't think it really provides you the water. There's no guarantee that you're going to have water when this is all over and done with, and we're going to have the federal government even further involved in our community, which I don't believe is going to be good for our community. These commissioners were openly elected and very open about their stance on the KBRA, and I believe that the reason they got elected was because the majority of the people in this county, not the vocal minority that's here today, supported their stand on the KBRA. So you can talk about your recalls and come up here and make veiled threats, but you guys don't have the people to push this thing through in this county. And I think it was a real insult for the outgoing commissioners to make the stance that they made when they both got unelected, basically because of their stance on this. Thank you.
Thank you for holding this session today to address the public in general. I'm real proud of all three of you and support you immensely and appreciate the effort that you went to represent the community. As Bill Adams just stated, you just won an election, and they talk about elections meaning something. And I believe that's why we're here today, is to express our opinion regarding the dam removal to this Board of Commissioners, this newly elected Board of Commissioners. And I happen to agree with the previous speakers that have indicated that you were elected, and the commissioners in the waning days, the very last days of their tenure, after they knew that they were not to be the new commissioners, made a vote on this matter. So I think it's very appropriate that it be revisited. And as I've indicated before, since Commissioner Lithicum voted no, he does have the ability to bring that issue back up before the commissioners and have a revote. And I request that you do exactly that. I'm a strong opponent to have them from the very beginning. And unlike what people have said that I've listened to here earlier, there are a lot of us who followed this matter from the very beginning, read all the documents, and put our money, our time into our position. And I'm just going to state the position very simply. I've got it in writing, but state it very simply in saying that without the human resource, and that's all of us here, without the human resource, there is no way we can survive if the natural resource is taken away. And that means the water. And there are people who have testified here who have made millions of dollars off of selling well water. That water belongs to all of us. That's got to stop. And any organization or anyone who thinks that they can take the property of others without following the U.S. Constitution, effectively taking private property. Thank you.
Thank you. That appears to conclude, and I will therefore close the public comment section of this period with regard to KBRA and the county's involvement. I will, since public comment period is now closed, I'll ask the board if they would like to deliberate on where they think further action would go. Vice Chair Jim Belay.
Where further action ought to go, I've taken an awful lot of notes. I took a note for every speaker. I normally don't take that many notes, but I think I got a little bit of each person's comments in there. There was an awful lot of emails yesterday that I read. Some of them were very simple, some were very detailed. And we're going to take emails up until Friday night. I feel that I want to study this at least a week. I've been studying it at length for the last week and a half, because I knew this hearing was coming up. I have stated that before that I had not read the whole KBRA before, but believe me that I have read it all now, and I think I understand it. So I really appreciate everybody here that has given their comments. Awful lot for, awful lot against. I don't know how that stacks up, but it probably Just looking through here, probably 50% for, 50% against. So I've got a lot of thinking to do and decide what the county, as a county, needs to look at the KBRA. So I'll leave it at that, and
It sounds like you'd like a few days to digest it.
yes, I definitely need a few.
Commissioner Tom Allens, your opinions.
I agree with that thought process. The amount of emails that we've gotten so far is really tremendous. It's very one-sided, I think, but the comments here today have been very balanced. We obviously have a disagreement here. I have been very vocal about my position, my personal position, and my professional opinion as a farmer and rancher in the past. But as an elected official, I believe we have to be held to a higher standard. We have to be able to put that aside. And I'm not prepared, and I think it would be an injustice to stand here today and make a decision on this, as some of the former county commissioners have done. I felt that very appalling when I was involved in that, and I won't be a part of that. Sometimes there are reasons that maybe we don't know about that precipitate maybe having to make a decision like that, but today is not one of them. I favor looking at this for the next week and reassembling the next public session, I think, which is 19th, and having an open discussion here with the public present, whoever wants to be here, and make a decision there if it's a possibility. I know that this is a divided community, and it breaks my heart. It breaks a lot of your hearts. I don't care which side you're on, it breaks everyone's heart to see this happening here. This is by design. There's no doubt about it. Our federal government is very good at what they do. They've been doing it for a long time. And then, unfortunately, we have a bullseye on the Klamath Basin for many reasons. And unfortunately, that's the hand we're dealt. This is a country we love. This is a community we love. All of us. And I'm not going to single anybody out. I think we all love this community. We all do. We have that in common. I think we have to work together. Many people have said that today, and I am an absolute believer of that. We need to work together. And this is a decisive issue. There's no doubt about it. I'm going to leave it at that. I think we need to digest it for a week and reassemble this week.
Okay. In closing, I will echo the same thoughts. There has been so many ideas presented today, and quite frankly, most of them are the standard sorts of comments. The charter that the commissioners have is to weigh those and try and balance the various perspectives and come to a unified proposal with regard to what to do in terms of continuing with the KBRA. So we have consensus here that we would like to continue to weigh these items. We appreciate your come through, so we appreciate your input. We also appreciate you taking time to come here today, and we thank you for your participation. We thank you for taking the individual responsibility for carving up your own schedule and getting here to participate. And the Klamath County Board thanks you. We have some other public comment with regard to